Hi, I'm Mike Rubens, and this is a story about the biggest tinnitus breakthrough in history. One that was buried after World War II and hidden by Big Pharma for decades to protect their profits. But in 2023, Harvard Medical School has revealed the shocking truth. Untreated tinnitus is a ticking time bomb that leads to permanent deafness. What does this have to do with World War II or with Big Pharma? And how can you cure your tinnitus from the comfort of your home? I'll explain everything in the next 5 minutes, because today, I've become the hearing industry's biggest enemy. And I'm revealing the shocking truth about how they've been taking advantage of us, people like you and me, for their own profit. For 2 years, tinnitus controlled my life. And I know exactly how it feels. The frustration, the sleepless nights, and the constant noise you just can't escape. But with God's help, I uncovered the truth. And after a long and difficult road, I found a real solution. A path that not only silenced the ringing, but brought my life and my joy back. So, I made it my mission to help people escape the endless loop of overpriced treatments and short-term fixes. 143,000 people from all walks of life have already reclaimed their hearing and peace of mind in less than 30 days. They've stopped tinnitus for good and even boosted their brain power without needing drugs, surgeries, or expensive gadgets. All thanks to a brave German doctor who treated tinnitus during World War II. I was lucky enough to stumble upon its findings by chance while exploring medical databases that had been hidden for decades. And then, by following his secret method, my ringing stopped completely in just 15 days. But you have to act fast, because when it comes to tinnitus, time is of the essence. You see, tinnitus is caused by damage to the auditory nerve, which sends sound signals from your ears to your brain. And if you don't tackle the root cause, those nerve fibers will die off completely, taking your hearing with them forever. Once that happens, there's no surgery on earth that can restore your hearing. But here's the bright side. If you have tinnitus, it means that only a portion of your auditory nerve has degenerated. The other part is still alive and can help restore the damaged section. I'm going to teach you a simple method to find out just how damaged your auditory nerve is right now, something no audiogram in the world can detect. First, here's what you'll discover in this video. How stumbling upon a classified German medical archive from World War II led me to uncover one of the biggest medical secrets in Big Pharma's history. What the German army did in the 1940s to eliminate tinnitus, and how their doctors identified the exact condition of a person's auditory nerve. And a simple 10-second method you can start using today to hit the mute button on that annoying ringing in your ears. Now, take a moment to hear what others have to say about this life-changing method.
Wow, this tinnitus solution really works. The ringing that used to drive me crazy has faded away, and my ears, they finally feel normal again.
The ringing in my ears is gone, and I can finally sleep like a baby. Thanks again, guys.
From the very first day, I felt an effect, and after about a week, the buzzing diminished significantly until it just stopped completely.
So let's not waste another second, especially since we know this works even in the most difficult cases, such as people who've had tinnitus for more than 10 years or who can no longer hear with a hearing aid. Pay close attention to this life-changing presentation, because I'm not sure for how long it's going to be available. We need to spread the word quickly so that people can get well. ENT specialists from Harvard Medical School confirm that this miraculous method can repair nerve fibers, stop tinnitus, and restore your hearing. The results can be felt from the very first days and work incredibly well for everyone, men and women, whether you're 20 or 80 years old, whether you've had hearing problems for 7 days or 40 years. And if you're skeptical, I get it. I know how it feels to live without a moment of peace, to lose hope, and feel like you're losing your mind. But trust me, this will be the last method you'll ever try, because it won't let you down. Even with my medical background, tinnitus left me feeling helpless. It pushed me to try things I never imagined would work, just like you probably have. But starting today, you can let go of hearing aids, dangerous medications loaded with chemicals, which, by the way, only make things worse, and painful ear treatments. You'll regain your hearing, feel like yourself again, and experience a whole new kind of freedom. Filled with clear sounds, conversations you can follow effortlessly, and the laughter of your loved ones. A quiet mind and calm spirit without the buzzing or the ringing, and deep, restful sleep. At first, your hearing will become clearer day by day. Then your mind will quiet down, your thoughts will become sharper, and your memory will improve. And most importantly, after dealing with poor sleep and insomnia, you'll finally sleep like a baby. So let's stop that buzzing in your ears that's been haunting you everywhere. More importantly, let's reverse your journey toward complete hearing loss. I'm like Rubens. I work as a biochemist at a well-known university, and my personal tinnitus story began about 3 years ago after attending a concert by my favorite local band. That night, I got home around 2 a.m. As I lay in bed, I noticed a ringing in my ears. Naturally, I thought it was from the concert and assumed it would go away after I fell asleep. But the next morning when I woke up, the ringing was still there. It hadn't left my ears, and it seemed like it wasn't going anywhere. I tried cleaning my ears with water and cotton swabs, brewed some lemon balm tea to calm my stress and anxiety, and even tried going back to sleep, hoping that fatigue might be the cause. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case at all. And while the sounds of the real world were fading, the buzzing continued non-stop, no matter where I went. After 4 days of waiting for the mosquito inside of my head to disappear, I started to get really worried. I couldn't sleep or concentrate anymore. I had constant headaches, felt jittery, and was overwhelmed with anxiety. I turned to my wife, who'd been at that same concert with me, thinking surely she must be dealing with this too. "Hey honey, are you hearing any weird sounds?" I asked, but the confused look she gave me said it all. She had no idea what I was talking about. So I took some anti-inflammatories and just prayed this nightmare would end. When it didn't go away, I realized it was tinnitus. But I kept convincing myself it was only temporary. After a month of enduring that maddening sound drilling through my brain, I decided to see a doctor. I was ready to do whatever it took to get rid of it. And that's when my worst nightmare began. The ENT checked my ears and ran several hearing tests, including an audiogram. After reviewing all the results, he told me there was nothing at all physically wrong with my ears, so it had to be tinnitus. He prescribed some relaxation pills and recommended rest and meditation. With the confirmation that it was tinnitus, I decided to see a neurologist. Since I had read so many articles about how tinnitus is connected to the brain, at the neurologist's office, I answered countless questions and filled out multiple forms. In the end, though, the neurologist simply told me to drink ginseng tea, take better care of myself, and rest more. As if I had some magical relax mode button I could press to fix everything. It became obvious they thought I was overreacting and wanted to dismiss me as quickly as possible. But if I was supposedly 100% healthy, then where did my tinnitus come from? I tried to convince myself that eventually I would learn to live with the high-pitched ringing and whooshing. I hoped that maybe, over time, I'd get so used to it that I wouldn't even notice it anymore. But 6 months later, the noises were louder, more varied, and impossible to ignore. I felt like my head was splitting in two. Sometimes it wasn't just the high-pitched noise or the whooshing. It also turned into pulsing and clicking sounds. I couldn't sleep at all. I was constantly angry. Even my wife was starting to grow tired of my endless complaints about the sounds I could hear. But then I noticed something else. Something that paralyzed me with fear. My mind started slipping away. Several times I found myself standing in the middle of supermarkets without knowing why I was there. I couldn't remember if I had locked the front door. I'd have to call my wife to check until one day she got really upset and told me I needed to do something about my tinnitus. I felt so confused and misunderstood. I didn't think I was just sitting around doing nothing. She knew I had tried every remedy I could find. Teas, meditation, acupuncture, white noise therapy, antidepressants. I even tried putting garlic in my ears, which in hindsight I wouldn't recommend. As each solution failed, my stress levels went through the roof. I felt ashamed and worried that my family and friends might think I was losing my mind. Then came the breaking point. The buzzing was deafening that day, and I could feel my pulse racing like a runaway train. Every emotion I'd been bottling up, the anger, the loneliness, the utter hopelessness, it all exploded at once. I just lost it. I started screaming like a man possessed, desperately trying to drown out this invisible enemy in my head. Next thing I knew, I was on my knees, tears streaming down my face, completely broken. My wife burst into the room, absolutely terrified. I'll never forget what she said.
"Enough! Either you get help and stop this, or I'm leaving."
She was shaking like a leaf when I held her, mumbling apologies through my tears. I felt awful. Looking back now, I'd barely recognize that person. But then again, you don't really know what you're capable of until you got this relentless buzz sawing through your brain 24/7. I was a man on fire, desperate, furious, at my wit's end. But deep down, I told myself, this is it. I'm done with this. I have to find a solution. I can't go on like this. I took a deep breath, asked God for help, and started analyzing my options. One, I could keep trusting the medical system, hoping for some breakthrough cure for tinnitus, but doctors had already told me they had no idea what was causing it. Or two, I could fight back, get to the bottom of this thing, and crush it like a real man. It was a long shot, but deep down I knew it was possible. I knew it was my only choice. So I started searching for scientific methods that could cure tinnitus. Most researchers said tinnitus was caused by prolonged exposure to loud noise, but that wasn't my case. Sure, I'd been to a concert, but I lived in a quiet wing of the university in a peaceful, leafy neighborhood.
I also learned that medication couldn't cure tinnitus, exactly what my doctors had said.
They suggested counseling to help me live with it, but whoever wrote that clearly didn't understand how unbearable tinnitus is. Other studies ruled out ear infections, bacterial diseases, or anything like that as causes. Basically, no one knew what actually caused it, which explained why most treatments didn't work.
Then I finally found something, the first real seed of truth in my entire healing process.
I discovered that tinnitus was actually a sign that I was slowly losing my hearing.
Let's take a look at this article from Harvard and Scientific Reports.
What they found is that if you have tinnitus and can still hear well, it's likely that you're suffering from hidden hearing loss. This condition occurs when your auditory nerve is losing nerve fibers, which leads to phantom sounds in the brain, what we know as tinnitus.
Now, in my case, my hearing tests came back perfectly normal, yet I still had tinnitus. So, was I suffering from hidden hearing loss?
I did feel like my hearing was getting weaker, but was that just because the tinnitus was masking sounds, or was I actually losing my hearing too?
This question haunted me. It wasn't just about the ringing in my ears anymore.
It was about whether I was silently heading toward total hearing loss. I immediately got on the phone and called the University of Harvard to get more details about their discovery. But when I called, their response was cold and dismissive. They refused to share any details about their research.
This made me furious. But then I found something that gave me hope.
On forums, I came across the stories of dozens of people who had been cured of tinnitus, not here in the US, but in Germany, with the help of a doctor named Ursula. There wasn't much more information than that, but I knew for certain that I was on the right path and that I too could be cured. And I had the bright idea of calling the best ENT I knew and trusted, Dr. James Court. You see, Dr. James Court and I were neighbors. In fact, he was the one who introduced me to my wife, but later he moved to the United Kingdom after marrying a wonderful English woman. James is an incredibly skilled ENT specialist with a focus on hearing rehabilitation. He studied at Harvard, and I knew he'd have deeper insights. He's authored numerous studies and books on hearing, and he's been conducting medical research in the field for more than 20 years.
When I told him about my tinnitus, hearing loss, and memory issues, James shared that he had also been deeply intrigued by the connection between hearing loss and tinnitus. He was familiar with the Harvard study and even knew how it all started. He explained that during a professional training course in Germany, he had come across the work of a German doctor, Dr. Hans Bauer, who had served in World War II. Dr. Hans Bauer focused on maintaining the physical and mental health of German soldiers. In his manuscripts, which detailed treatments for soldiers, Dr. Hans Bauer noted that a significant number of them developed tinnitus. Given Germany's ambition to become the most powerful nation in the world, it was clear they needed to address tinnitus. That's how the Technological Race Initiative began. Because Germany's leaders understood that to win the war, they needed more than just advanced weaponry. According to the doctor's notes, they needed soldiers who were sharper, more resilient, and mentally and physically unbreakable. They required troops who could endure the relentless chaos of battle without losing focus. But soldiers suffering from tinnitus couldn't reach these high standards. The constant ringing crippled their ability to fight. They couldn't hear commands, couldn't concentrate, and were slowly being driven mad. Thus, Germany became an innovation hub. They weren't just inventing weapons like ballistic missiles, assault rifles, nuclear fission, and night vision devices. No, their ambitions went far beyond that. They were trying to create the perfect soldier.
Humiliated in the First World War, they were determined to do everything in their power to ensure dominance in the next one. So if they wanted to create the perfect soldier, they had to find a way to stop tinnitus from destroying their troops' fighting capabilities. As you might guess, at first, they assumed tinnitus was caused by the deafening sounds of war. It seemed logical, but in reality, something deeper was happening at the level of the auditory nerve. When German scientists uncovered the truth, they were stunned. After examining countless ears and running endless tests, they discovered a disturbing pattern. Many soldiers first developed tinnitus, and over time, even after leaving the battlefield, they completely lost their hearing.
But why? Was there a link between tinnitus and hearing loss? And if so, what was it?
A closer examination of the auditory nerve revealed that people with tinnitus were experiencing a loss of nerve fibers. These fibers, responsible for transmitting sound information, were damaged, a condition known medically as hidden hearing loss. This damage disrupted normal hearing and triggered tinnitus. The continued loss of these nerve fibers eventually resulted in complete hearing loss.
But the burning question remained. Why were the nerve fibers deteriorated? And why did they deteriorate more quickly during wartime when tinnitus was clearly more severe? Neither James nor I could fully answer this question. We both felt we were on the verge of discovering the truth, but a critical piece of the puzzle was missing.
Then James confessed something that reignited my curiosity. On the manuscript, it was written, "Resolved through procedure HH." This indicated that the Germans had found a way to solve the problem, but they hadn't disclosed how. That's why even though the Harvard study confirmed the link between tinnitus and hearing loss, it offered no solution.
Hearing this, I felt deeply disappointed, but I asked James if there was a chance we could search for more of the doctor's writings. Even though he'd passed away, I was convinced there might be more to uncover. It was a long shot, but I had already come this far. My hearing loss and memory issues were worsened by a day, and I couldn't afford to wait.
So I asked James if he would join me in digging deeper into Dr. Hans's work to find a possible solution. James didn't give me a clear answer right away. Instead, he asked for a few days to see if he could uncover anything else and promised to call me. I agreed, waiting with the same excitement as a child waiting for their Christmas present.
After 3 days, my phone rang. What had James discovered?
He found out that Dr. Hans's daughter was still alive. And not just alive, but she worked as an ENT specialist in Berlin. And her name was Ursula, the same name mentioned in the stories of those who had been cured of tinnitus.
My heart started racing. It was clear we had to meet her.
Within 7 days, James and I were at the airport heading to Germany for an appointment with Dr. Ursula, Dr. Hans's daughter. As soon as we landed, we went straight to her clinic. There was no time to waste. Her office was in an old house with impressive paintings on the walls and a high vaulted ceiling. When the door opened, an elderly woman appeared. There was a warmth in her voice as she greeted us and asked how she could help.
I began sharing my story, my struggles with tinnitus, the stress and anxiety it caused me, and the article I had read about Harvard's discoveries.
Then James took over, talking about her father's groundbreaking work, which had uncovered the same truths decades earlier during World War II. He spoke about how much he admired Dr. Hans's research and how he regretted not having access to the entirety of his findings on neurology and hearing. When James started talking about her father, she was initially hesitant to share anything. But then James said something that changed her mind. He explained that it was possible her father had discovered a solution that could help millions of people suffering from tinnitus.
Her expression softened, and I could see she was starting to reconsider. Then she began telling us about her father.
It's true, my father was a doctor during World War II. I was born 5 years after the war ended. I remember him constantly studying, analyzing complex cases, and saving lives. He was passionate about neurology and understood the brain better than anyone in Germany. Watching him, I wanted to follow in his footsteps. He taught me everything he knew and even allowed me to assist in his surgeries. Tinnitus was always an important topic for us because we found a cure for it. Locally, this cure was used for decades. I can even show you a chart from the 1960s showing no cases of tinnitus in our area. But then, Big Pharma stepped in. They stopped us from treating people, claiming that every treatment needed to go through an approval process. The real reason? To dominate the market with their overpriced products and guarantee their profits. We've always been independent from Big Pharma because my commitment is to finding real solutions for real people, not to quarterly profits or shareholder returns. I believe medicine should be helping patients, not maximizing revenue. Why do you think certain cheap and effective medications disappear? Because they're too affordable and work too well. Big Pharma wants to keep us perpetually sick and dependent on them. My father's work was classified as top secret and his treatments were suppressed. Whenever a cure is too effective, Big Pharma ensures it's buried and research is halted.
Well, hearing this saddened, but I stayed focused on my goal. I asked her, how can we regenerate nerve fibers? Please help us find the correct treatment for tinnitus. I'm desperate.
And Dr. Ursula explained, my father proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that tinnitus is a sign of hidden hearing loss. The auditory nerve loses its fibers over time. These fibers are responsible for transmitting sound information. Their deterioration, medically termed hidden hearing loss, leads to impaired hearing and triggers tinnitus. Untreated, the ongoing loss of these fibers results in complete hearing loss.
I asked her, why do we lose these nerve fibers?
Ototoxicity. Certain medications and chemicals are ototoxic, meaning they have a toxic effect on the auditory nerve fibers. Antibiotics, diuretics, inhaled toxins all contribute to this fiber loss. This is one reason tinnitus was so common during the war. The heightened exposure to toxic substances from weapons accelerated nerve damage. Today, our environment is filled with pollution, chemicals in food, and medications So it's no surprise tinnitus cases are rising. And if that weren't bad enough, untreated tinnitus leads to hearing loss. A simple way to check if your auditory nerve is affected is to observe how well you can follow a conversation in a noisy environment like a cafe. If you can follow it entirely, your auditory nerve is fine. But if you struggle to focus, you need to act immediately.
I then asked her, how can I treat mine tinnitus?
She replied, the solution exists, but I can't prepare it for you due to legal restrictions. It's not available in pharmacies for the reasons I've already explained. You'll need to make it yourself. It's the same formula my father developed decades ago, the one that helped the German army and works for anyone with tinnitus, regardless of severity. Even my father developed tinnitus after the war, but with this solution, his tinnitus vanished in just 7 days. But I must warn you, it needs to be prepared correctly. Pay close attention to every ingredient, measurement, and step in the recipe. She handed us a sheet with ingredients, precise measurements, and detailed instructions. Dr. Ursula then explained, the auditory nerve fibers don't naturally regenerate, but certain substances can stimulate new fibers to grow from existing ones. These are known as support fibers in medical terms. This formula activates those support fibers, helping restore hearing and eliminating tinnitus as the auditory system heals itself.
I carefully reviewed each step of Dr. Hans's protocol, which claimed to not only reverse tinnitus and hearing loss by regenerating nerve fibers, but also protect the brain from age-related illnesses.
After we made sure that we understood the entire healing process and that we correctly listed all the substances that our auditory system needed, and after we double-checked the amounts of each ingredient in the recipe, Dr. James decided to come with me to my lab in the United States to make and test Dr. Hans's formula. I thanked Dr. Hans's daughter and promised her that if the treatment worked for me, I'd help others as well and expose the monstrous big pharma to everyone, no matter the risk.
Now, I want you to pay attention, because what I'm about to tell you comes directly from Dr. Hans's protocol. It's top secret information that no one else has access to. So here's a quick explanation of everything that went into the formula.
But keep in mind that it is only 100% effective when all of the ingredients are combined in these exact same ratios to achieve the best possible results against hearing loss and tinnitus. Without adequate preparation, the whole ritual is pretty much worthless.
That's why a lot of supplements don't have any effect.
Through his studies, Dr. Hans discovered that all cases of tinnitus and hearing loss share one critical factor: the loss of nerve fibers from the auditory nerve. As time passes, our bodies accumulate more harmful substances, chemicals, medications, fumes, and so on, that gradually lead to the loss of these nerve fibers. This process causes the auditory nerve to become inflamed, impairing its function. The nerve then loses essential nutrients, creating pressure inside the skull. This pressure results in scrambled signals, which manifest as hearing loss, brain fog, headaches, memory issues, and the constant ringing in the ears. Dr. Hans understood that the key to curing tinnitus lies in activating a 3-step biochemical process. 1. Calming the nerves, to reduce inflammation and relieve the initial stress on the auditory system. 2. Nourishing the nerves and regenerating nerve fibers, to repair the damaged auditory nerve and rebuild its structure. 3. Restoring healthy nerve function, to eliminate the phantom sounds of tinnitus and regain perfect hearing. By addressing these 3 steps, the root causes of tinnitus and hearing loss can be effectively resolved.
Now, let me introduce the key ingredients that enable this 3-step biochemical process.
The foundation of this method is a combination of specific amino acids that work together: L-arginine, L-lysine, and L-valine. This trio is essential for reducing nerve inflammation, lowering inflammatory molecules, and boosting the immune system, all critical steps for repairing and calming the auditory nerve.
There's the science behind it.
Research published in Nutrition shows that arginine supports immune function and reduces inflammation by 82%. Immunopharmacology and immunotoxicology revealed that L-lysine increases antibody production and strengthens immune response against infections. The International Journal of Sports Nutrition and Exercise Metabolism found that L-valine reduces inflammation, mental fatigue, and improves cognitive performance. This combination targets the root cause of tinnitus, nerve fiber loss, while also improving the overall hearing process. Together, these 3 ingredients sweep away the inflammation like a broom and complete the first step of the healing process.
Next, we move to the second stage, which focuses on nourishing the nerves and regenerating nerve fibers.
This is where ornithine alpha-ketoglutarate, OKG, L-isoleucine, and mumio come in. These powerful compounds work to ensure that the nerves receive everything they need to generate new nerve fibers. And how can this be achieved? By making sure the body is no longer under attack from harmful substances and that the immune system is strong enough to combat all damaging factors. Studies published in Nutrition show that OKG boosts the immune system and helps the body fight infections, especially in individuals under severe stress, like those with tinnitus. Immunology letters prove that L-isoleucine supports the immune system and enhances its response to inflammation, which is crucial in this second healing step. The next powerhouse ingredient is mumio, a natural substance found in the Himalayas, Altai, and Caucasus Mountains. It's rich in minerals and organic compounds and has been used for centuries in traditional Ayurvedic and Siberian medicine for its strong antioxidant properties. The International Journal of Alzheimer's Disease has found that mumio may help prevent Alzheimer's and protect the brain from cognitive decline due to its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects, making it essential not only for eliminating tinnitus, but also for safeguarding your brain's health.
Now, let's dive into step 3. Desensitizing the nervous system to restore healthy nerve activity and permanently eliminate the phantom sounds of tinnitus. This step focuses on calming the nervous system, reducing hypersensitivity, and supporting brain recovery. The key ingredients here are L-glutamine, GABA, alpha-GPC, and L-dopa. Glutamine is a precursor to glutamate, and GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, two neurotransmitters critical for brain function. GABA in particular has a calming and anti-anxiety effect on the nervous system. Research in psychopharmacology shows that supplementing with glutamine improves mood and reduces anxiety and stress, especially during mental overload, as the nerve endings heal and the nervous system recovers. Biological psychiatry found that people with depression often have low GABA levels in the prefrontal cortex, and boosting GABA through supplements or therapy improves mood and reduces depressive symptoms. Another study in neuropsychopharmacology showed that optimal GABA levels are essential for cognitive functions like attention and memory, and supplementing with GABA improves sleep significantly. This explains why our solution helps with restful sleep. Alpha-GPC plays a crucial role in the central nervous system. Studies in clinical therapeutics demonstrate that after 6 months, it improves cognitive performance, even in people with Alzheimer's. For us, it helps restore normal nerve activity after the trauma caused by tinnitus. Research also suggests that alpha-GPC can slow cognitive decline in patients of any age. L-dopa, a natural amino acid and precursor to dopamine, also plays a vital role in the central nervous system. Pharmacology, biochemistry, and behavior showed that L-dopa improves attention, alertness, and mental performance in people with dopamine deficiencies, which are found in 92% of people with tinnitus. To improve the formula, we added L-tyrosine, sodium, and potassium to enhance your mood, focus, and ability to manage stress. Sodium is essential for transmitting nerve signals in the body. It controls ion flow through cell membranes, allows neurons to communicate efficiently. Potassium is also essential for transmitting nerve signals and keeping the brain functioning properly. It helps maintain the electrolyte balance in nerve cells, supporting cognitive functions and mental health. This powerful combination works like a super steroid for your auditory nerve, not only eliminating tinnitus, but first and foremost, improving your hearing, an essential step in permanently eradicating tinnitus. After carefully analyzing the recipe multiple times together with James and 3 other U.S. doctors, we concluded that it's crucial
to select only the purest of ingredients, mix them in the exact order and with the same method that the doctor used, and use exact amounts of each ingredient so that the final mixture is as effective as possible.
And, as you can imagine, it took another 2 months until we even got a prototype we could test out. Now, to be honest with you, it was tough as hell.
So many farmers use pesticides these days. It took many days and nights to find the ones that were honest and transparent and could supply us with what we needed.
But in the end, it was all worth it.
We, like Dr. Hans, kept the mixture in liquid form for 3 reasons. First, because this method allows the ingredients to be absorbed much more easily into your body, quickly nourishing your auditory system with the essential substances it's been deprived of for years. Second, I knew from personal experience that after taking countless pills for what felt like forever, the last thing I wanted was to swallow yet another pill. And third, because we wanted to keep the formula intact to ensure the same results Dr. Hans achieved in his battle against tinnitus.
So, as I said, the result was a liquid with a slightly strange taste. But would it work?
James told me to put it in a small spray bottle and spray it in my mouth. So I did. 6 sprays under my tongue.
And half an hour later, something incredible happened. The sounds stopped.
For the first time in months, the constant ringing, hissing, and buzzing disappeared. It was like stepping into pure silence. But after a few minutes, the sensation began to fade, and the sounds returned. Still,
I knew something was working. Excited and hopeful,
I kept using the product every day, spraying a mixture in my mouth each morning. Over the next 2 weeks, I started noticing real changes. The sounds became quieter and quieter, and my hearing improved more and more. My mental clarity returned, and I felt more focused and alert. Then, one Sunday, while reading a book, I suddenly realized I couldn't hear any noise at all. It was completely silent. Overwhelmed with emotion, I cried tears of joy. I called it the greatest miracle of my life. Excitedly, I called James to share my experience. He simply replied, "This isn't a miracle. It's called science."
And even though my tinnitus was completely gone, I continued taking the solution, and its effects went far beyond restoring my hearing.
Every time I sprayed it, I felt a wave of energy rush through me. I wasn't just hearing better, I felt stronger, more focused, and more productive. I could push myself harder during workouts, finish tasks faster, and stay sharper than I had in years.
Now, I knew exactly what I had to do and what I had promised Dr. Ursula.
So I called James to share my idea of making the solution public, along with everything we knew about Big Pharma. People needed this. He agreed, even though there were risks, but he wanted to test the solution on a larger group first.
So with James's help, we put together a final test group to see how the spray would perform on a broader scale.
We gathered 72 people who were willing to try our spray for a full 60 days.
I personally delivered the solution to their homes, and we were ready to start the study. Of course, I was anxious to hear their feedback, and I was ready for anything. But what happened next took me completely by surprise.
Within just a few days, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. People were telling me their tinnitus was finally fading, some after years, even decades of suffering. Those with hearing loss said they could hear the voices of their loved ones again, their favorite songs, or the sound of birds chirping. We encouraged everyone to keep taking the spray for at least 2 months, even though the early results were already remarkable.
And after that, James and I collected the data, and we couldn't believe our eyes.
Out of the 72 participants, every single one had regained clear hearing and gotten rid of tinnitus for good. But the benefits didn't end there. Most people reported sharper thinking, better memory, and deeper, more restful sleep.
Now, here's what one of the people from the test group said.
On the 11th day, I no longer had ringing in my ears.
The success was beyond our wildest dreams. That's when I knew my life had found a new purpose. I was determined to get this formula to every single person suffering from tinnitus and hearing loss worldwide, and to do so at a price they could afford.
We called it Whispeara because our participants all said it helped them hear the soft, subtle sounds they thought were lost forever. It's the first product that regenerates nerve fibers in the auditory nerve, reduces nerve inflammation, calms auditory overstimulation, eliminates tinnitus, and restores healthy hearing all in just a few days. And even though Big Pharma tried to shut us down, we knew we couldn't wait another second to share this science-back-end revolutionary treatment, proven already by thousands of people.
A few days ago, Big Pharma representative even offered us a huge amount of money just to bury this formula. But, of course, we refused, which made them very angry.
Now, you're probably wondering, how can I get Whispeara as quickly as possible?
Well, the truth is, making this product was incredibly difficult. Finding potent, safe ingredients, it's a real challenge.
We were lucky enough to make a deal with a small farm in the UK for our ingredients, which we then bottle in the US following strict FDA guidelines. It takes about 6 months to produce a batch under these conditions, but we're proud of our high standards and would never sacrifice safety for profit. What's more, people who have already tried Whispeara are asking us for more. No wonder our stock runs out so quickly. As you can imagine, Big Pharma's already threatened to sue us if we don't stop selling the product, because its success could hurt their business. We've managed to hold them off for now, but there's no guarantee they won't try more aggressive tactics soon. But since you've stuck with me for this long, I'm giving you the rare chance to buy Whispeara now while we still have it in stock.
Before I do that, though, I want to tell you how to take it to get the best results. This is important. You don't want to get it wrong.
First, you start by spraying 6 pumps under your tongue every morning for at least 30 days. 1 bottle of Whispeara should last exactly 30 days. You might feel a difference even on the first day. Some people have reported the sound stopping after just 30 minutes, but that depends on how advanced your tinnitus is. What's certain is that by the end of the first month, the formula will have had time to fully kick in, and your hearing will improve. But you need to be patient. This is a natural treatment that works with your body, unlike pharmaceutical pills. After that, we recommend taking Whispeara Whispeara for another 2 months, which means 3 bottles of Whispeara. 3 months is enough for ensuring the improvements in your hearing are permanent. But the best results we've seen come from people who took Whispeara for a full 6 months. Not only did it help with their tinnitus and hearing issues, but it also sharpened their minds and boosted their mental energy throughout the day. It's hard to know exactly how much damage your auditory nerve has sustained or how inflamed it is. That depends on your medical history, diet, and lifestyle.
So, to be safe, we recommend taking Whispeara for 6 months. This should be enough to fully support the regeneration of nerve fibers and the readjustment of the nerves, allowing your hearing to improve and brain fog to disappear for good.
Everyone who has used Whispeara has reported incredible success. Here are just a few of the messages I've received since making the formula available to the public.
The ringing that used to drive me crazy has faded away, and my ears finally feel normal again.
Before, the ringing was constant, making it hard to concentrate or relax. But now, I can enjoy the quiet again. Thanks.
I love hearing stories like these. It shows that our product works for all kinds of people, regardless of age or the severity of their conditions.
All of this with just 6 pumps under your tongue each day. So, I can say with full confidence that this is by far the best treatment for tinnitus and hearing loss. Nothing else comes close. Yes, there's always the medical route. You could see a doctor and undergo painful surgery and spend a lot of money in an effort to lessen your symptoms. But why not try something else first? Something that might greatly improve your condition without torturing you or draining your bank account. As for other alternative healing methods such as meditation, acupuncture, and teas, they're just not strong enough to treat serious conditions such as tinnitus and hearing loss. Spending time and money on these alternatives is a colossal waste.
With Whispeara, you'll start seeing results in as little as 3 weeks. And you don't have to worry about any pesky side effects or long-term issues.
Now you get why James initially wanted to price this formula at $780 per bottle. Whispeara is the only supplement available on the market that actually addresses the root cause of tinnitus and not just the symptoms. Just think about what people pay when they go to the doctor to purchase the latest treatments and hearing aids.
I've told him I understood where he was coming from.
Even at $780 per bottle, Whispeara would still be an incredible value.
But I wasn't in this for the money. If I were, I'd just sell the formula to the representatives of Big Pharma who came knocking and I'd be set for life. But that's not who I am.
I've been through the agony of tinnitus and hearing loss, so my main goal is to help people get better. That's all I've ever wanted from the very beginning. I wish I had had access to something like this before I hit rock bottom and put my wife through so much pain.
But I can't dwell on the past. All I can do now is put Whispeara into as many hands as possible while supplies last.
Remember, before you opt for much more expensive and potentially harmful medical treatments, you have the option to be proactive and take action right now. If that means dropping the price to the point where I'm barely breaking even, so be it. That's why I won't be charging you anywhere near $580 for this incredible breakthrough.
Because you've stayed with me through this entire presentation, I want to offer you something truly special. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
After much deliberation and negotiation, James agreed to allow me to sell 1 bottle of Whispeara for just $69 for a limited time. This makes it easy for people who've been dealing with tinnitus and other hearing problems to get the help they need without having to spend a lot of money. What's more, if you decide to go for the full 6-month treatment, I'm prepared to give you a 30% discount on each bottle. That comes down to just $49 per bottle for a total of $294. This offer is only available today while supplies last.
Reserve your treatment in advance, and you won't have to worry about tinnitus and hearing loss ever again.
But be warned, once we run out of supplies, we may not be able to offer a new batch for another 5 to 6 months. That's why taking advantage of the full 6-bottle offer is your best bet. This way, you'll secure all the bottles you need for the full course of treatment. You won't get this much bang for your buck anywhere else. One tiny investment now can reap benefits years down the line once your hearing reverts back to normal and tinnitus is a thing of the past. Sure, 1 bottle of Whispeara is enough to make all that ringing in your ears go away. 3 bottles will go a long way towards undoing any mental damage caused by your hearing problems. But 6 bottles could actually protect your brain long term, boosting it in the face of conditions like memory loss, amnesia, and dementia. Imagine having the sharpest mind possible, no matter your age.
So take a good look at the offer we prepared below this video and choose the one that makes the most sense for you.
After you click the order button, you'll be taken directly to our checkout page where you'll enter your payment details and finalize your order. After that, your shipment of Whispeara will be delivered right to your doorstep in 7 days or less. This is your last chance to secure a full treatment of Whispeara before supplies run out. And don't forget, no matter what happens, you're protected by our 90-day, 100% healthy or money-back guarantee. That's 3 full months for you to experience for yourself just how mind-blowing Whispeara can be. Within a few weeks, you'll start to regain control over your body and mind. Anxiety will fade away as your tinnitus recedes, and you can start living life to the fullest again. This has already been proven by more than 143,000 satisfied beta testers.
And if you decide to change your mind or the formula isn't working as fast as you expected, just send me an email and I'll buy it back from you. No questions asked. So click one of the buttons below and kickstart your healing process today. It'll be the best decision you ever make.
Just don't wait too long before you act. Your problems could be getting worse by the day, and there's always the risk of our supply getting bought out by other customers in the meantime. After all, we're offering this incredible product for just $69, even cheaper if you go for the bundle packages. And that's exactly what people are doing, emptying our stock in record time. Because of that, we might be forced to raise the price to $179 per bottle, maybe even higher in the future as the supplies we need get more expensive. Believe it or not, some people are still wary of Whispeara, precisely because it's too cheap. They think it couldn't possibly do the things it does to alleviate hearing problems and tinnitus at a fraction of the price of prescription medicine.
They'd be right. If we charge the same price as Big Pharma, our product would still sell and we get rich. That's not why I got into this.
My mission is and will always be to help as many people as possible, and greedy corporate interests can take a hike as far as I'm concerned. So don't hesitate and take me up on this offer while it still stands. Click the order button below and I'll make sure you get your shipment of Whispeara in a matter of days.
At this point, it's all in your hands.
You can either leave this presentation, not believe a word I say, or continue living your life as before. You might hope that your condition will improve on its own. Unfortunately, we all know how unlikely that is. But know this, before you opt for much more expensive and potentially damaging medical treatments, you have a choice to be proactive and do something about this now. So why not take matters into your own hands? Proven natural treatments like Whispeara don't come along every day. A lot of work and research went into creating this solution, and you're fortunate to be among the first to find out about it.
Should I make a risk-free order today? You'll thank yourself later.
Just click below and enter your payment details. We'll take care of the rest. You'll have the bottles delivered to your doorstep in a matter of days.
I look forward to celebrating your results with Whispeara. You still here? If you have any more questions, I'll do my best to answer them here.
Number 1. What is the real cause of tinnitus, and how can we get rid of it? Tinnitus happens when the auditory nerve, which carries sound signals from your ears to your brain, is damaged. If you have tinnitus, it means part of your auditory nerve has deteriorated. The good news is that the remaining part is still functional and can help restore the damaged section. Through extensive research and medical trials, we discovered that specific compounds can regenerate auditory nerve fibers using a unique 3-step biochemical process. 1. Calming the nerves, to reduce inflammation and relieve the initial stress on the auditory system. 2. Nourishing the nerves and regenerating nerve fibers, to repair the damaged auditory nerve and rebuild its structure. 3. Restoring healthy nerve function, to eliminate the phantom sounds of tinnitus and regain perfect hearing. This process is the only proven method to permanently stop tinnitus and prevent further hearing loss. Question number 2. How is Whispeara manufactured? Whispeara is proudly manufactured in the United States, in a facility that adheres to the highest standards of good manufacturing practices. It is meticulously produced in an FDA-registered facility with rigorous quality controls. We also have our formula tested by an independent third-party laboratory to make sure that the ingredients match what's on the label and that there are no toxic ingredients inside. Obviously, we strongly disagree with the use of fillers, preservatives, and artificial ingredients. This commitment allows Whispeara to be an exceptionally pure yet incredibly effective breakthrough in putting an end to tinnitus and facilitating hearing restoration. Question number 3. How long will Whispeara be available to the public? My number 1 objective is to ensure that this groundbreaking solution reaches as many Americans as possible, given the remarkable revolution it has sparked. I'm committed to making it accessible for every American at an affordable cost, amounting to just pennies a day. However, there are some powerful enemies who fiercely oppose my actions. They would go to great lengths to silence me by attempting to remove this website from the internet. Because of their efforts and the significant time it takes to make each bottle of Whispeara of up to 6 months, I can't guarantee how long this site will remain online. Therefore, if you're ready to embrace the incredible benefits of Whispeara, it's crucial that you take decisive action now by placing your order and securing your supply. Number 4, how does the guarantee work? When you click on one of the options at the bottom of this page and get your supply of Whispeara today, you're automatically protected by our comprehensive 90-day, 100% money-back guarantee. This means that if you change your mind about Whispeara for any reason within the next 3 months, simply reach out to our 24/7 customer service team via phone or email. We will swiftly refund your entire investment in Whispeara within 48 hours, no questions asked. Rest assured, you'll be assisted by someone who truly cares about your satisfaction and is dedicated to providing the support you need. With our ironclad guarantee, you can take the leap with confidence and enjoy Whispeara without any risk on your part. Number 5. Okay, I'm ready to order Whispeara now. What do I have to do next? All that's left for you to do is click the order button below, choose the best package for you, enter your payment details, and place your order. We'll promptly ship your bottles directly to your home. I have full confidence that you'll be amazed at how quickly Whispeara will ease your tinnitus, improve your hearing, and restore your brain. Our 6-bottle package is the most popular option, guaranteeing you the best results and providing incredible savings. However, no matter which package you choose, the moment you place your order, we will expedite Whispeara to you. Once you receive your order in just a few short days, start taking Whispeara daily. I'm confident you'll be astounded by its remarkable efficacy. Moreover, as I mentioned earlier, this entire purchase is protected by our 90-day, 100% money-back guarantee. So go ahead and place your order now. This way you can experience the transformative power of Whispeara for yourself right away.
Click below and get started with Whispeara.